I'm not good at following directions, so okay. You don't understand. It's not my strong point. It's interesting because I always say that every single day, no matter what setting I was in, whether I was at Goldman, whether I was at Harvard, um, whether I was a steward, whether I was at the United Nations, I always felt like a little black girl from Trenton. And the good news about that is I feel like I have a little bit of street smart. So when I look at things, I look at them from that perspective of coming from urban, not necessarily having all the resources you need to get something done, but being able to use what you have in order to get where you need to go. And I think that was one of the biggest things that I was always able to do. Like, I didn't understand that I wasn't supposed to do something. I just understand that I wanted to do it. And I had to use X, Y, and Z resources, even though they weren't the traditional resources, to get where I needed to go. So I think that worked, because when you add that with more education and different experiences, then a lot of times it can give you an edge, because other people may not be coming from where you're coming from. They're used to having their budgets in place, and when their budget is in place, if they don't have their budget, they don't know what to do. With you, you're like, well, I'm not used to having a budget, really. Or there's been times in my life where I didn't have a budget, but I still had to get my work done. I still have to get my project done. I still have to move that forward. So I think coming from an inner city, coming from a working class family, where we had to be creative in terms of getting things and getting where we wanted to go and getting our goals, added to everything that I did, because I never understood that I wasn't supposed to be somewhere. Like, I didn't understand that I wasn't supposed to be at Wall Street, or I wasn't supposed to be at Boston. I just figured, hey, I'm here because I earned my space to be here, and I need to get this done, and I'm going to use what resources that are available to me to do it. So growing up in an inner city working class family definitely ingrained that in me. And adding to it, the wonderful education I got at Goldman, the increased education I had at Rutgers, and the education I got from my career itself, from working and having to think on your feet and not having everything available, I was able to navigate. Like, one of the best compliments I got from a client was, I recently went to a site, and I get there and the lights are out. Like, literally, there's no electricity. So I'm like, well, you guys know that we're doing a computer training class, right? So if there's no electricity, that makes that a little difficult. How do we do computer training? And they looked at me and they said, well, if anybody will figure it out, you will. And I smiled and I said, yeah, I guess we're going to start drawing grids on the floor and jumping and doing some hopscotch and double dutch or something, so that we can illustrate concepts. And they all laughed. And luckily the lights came back on, but it was nice to hear that at least they knew that somehow I would work out a way to meet this goal, because we'd all came together and to do this class. So somehow, even if we had to go back to chalkboards and drawing things, we were still going to get what we needed to get done. So I think that was part of the Trenton education, combined with the other education, the more traditional education, just learning how to think and learning how to pull it all together. So with me, I have my what I call love-hate relationship with Trenton. I love Trenton. I want Trenton to succeed. I hate Trenton because I get frustrated with it, and I get frustrated sometimes with the notion that nothing works in Trenton, and therefore nothing is going to work, because that's how I learned, or where I learned to make things work. So I would love to see that resonate throughout the town, that change in attitude. Like, okay, we are going to make this work. We're going to find a way to improve this. We're going to find a way to improve ourselves. So I would love to see that. That's my hate part, where it's not there and people struggle with it. And, I don't know these days exactly what all I can contribute, but I try to contribute my voice, my ideas, in certain cases, money to X, Y, and Z events when I can, or time to participate in interviews or forums, or to offer information to people, some of it private, some of it public. So I try to give that in hopes that it helps add another perspective that'll lead people to believe that, okay, things can change. Because I feel like that's the biggest problem, that there's that lack of belief, and that needs to be there. In terms of me, like I said, I'm still working as a consultant. You have your slow seasons and you have your not so slow seasons. July and August are generally a little slower. A lot of people are on vacation, and my clients are generally corporate clients. So people go on vacation November, December, January, July, and August. So I'm a little bit more freer there, and I can spend time on building websites, making sure that I'm marketing my skills, and doing any kind of other community projects that may come my way. And I have my website, barbarahorne.com, which is my single point. So if you go to barbarahorne.com, it gets you anywhere else in terms of whatever writing that I'm working on, whatever projects that I'm working on, any strange insights, ideas, whatever craziness that comes, politics that we're talking about. You can go there and find it. It's not much on there, but it points you to all the other stuff, the Facebook, the Twitter, etc. So that's it.